feels like the full Dookie Super Saiyan Goku.
And absolutely dislike hard plastic capes.
Give me GT Goku, now give me my future, go on!
Like, I don't know.
Welcome to the Plastic Power Podcast. We are your hosts, Champ Animation and Daredevil 19. And we will have some news very soon. So be on the lookout for that.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, say hi to Champ. He was just waving to everybody.
Yeah, we're not live. This is pre-recorded, so.
Yeah. And today, the reason why we're doing a pre-recorded is because this is going to be a very fun episode for me and Champ. This is ranking all of the One Piece arcs, anime only. So, of course, from the beginning, only to Wano, since we're still in the middle of Egghead. I mean, Egghead arc is very close to ending, but I'd rather wrap up before adding it in. I mean, once One Piece wraps up, we'll probably do a part 2 of this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just now starting
yeah,
Egghead, so yeah.
Oh.
So I'm only
Egghead, like,
yeah, I heard it's really good, but like yeah, I know it's gonna be wrapping up soon, so I am starting that, and be on the lookout on my channel. I'm gonna be doing a One Piece post time skip kind of review, giving my thoughts about that, because I know I did that with the pre-time skip.
Yeah, you did the pre-time skip one.
So
Let that video pop up. It should pop up over here, right?
Whenever it uploads, we'll make sure to leave a link here or whatever. But yeah. Let's get into it. So we're gonna be ranking all of the One Piece arcs, giving our thoughts, and real quick, everything but Egghead, because again it's still going on. But But yeah, let's jump right into it. And the first arc that we're gonna go into is pre-time skip, Romance Dawn.
Yeah, Romance Dawn. Yeah, it's only a few episodes. It is the you like how you said let's jump right into it. I pretended to jump into it. That's what I was doing. So Romance Dawn, yeah, is the very beginning. It's just like a few episodes, but it's the introduction of Luffy and Zoro as well. This is that little arc also. Yeah. So we get introduced to two of like the main characters. We also get introduced to like some side characters. And for what it was, the introduction, that first episode when I ever first watched it, did hook me in pretty good. I mean, the second episode was good, and I think the third one is when they start going towards Zoro, him, and Kobe. That's where we also meet Kobe for the first time. And when I first watched it, I thought Kobe was going to be a throwaway character. We never see him again.
Yeah.
But little did I know he had a bunch of side stories. He shows up a lot more, and he is more, I guess, significant in the story right now as well. He is a pretty important character, and that's something I love about One Piece in general. You think these characters who are in like a couple episodes are done, or they're in an arc and they're done, but you know what, they pop back up and become a much larger part of the story. Another example is Laboon, which we'll get into that when we get up to it. But
that was Alexa.
I didn't know if your mom.
No, that was Alexa. We're just gonna have to edit that part out. But yeah, continue.
Or maybe just leave it and then make it the intro.
Oh my god.
But yeah, Romance Dawn was a good arc. Yeah, it was short, but like I said, Oda's introduction to Luffy, Zoro, even Alvida, she pops back up. Not as important of a character as like Kobe, but you see that a lot, and I believe we do get the flashback episodes with Luffy and Shanks during this time frame as well.
Yeah.
So we also get introduced to Shanks and the Red Hair Pirates as well. And this arc I feel like is decent. Is it my favorite? No, but it is a very good introduction to One Piece or an anime in general.
Yeah, I mean, I would rank it. What is it? B and rank it A, put in A tier. It's the start of the show. It starts off fun. You get to meet Luffy, Kobe, who become like the two most important characters that we follow during the One Piece anime, because we go back and forth between Luffy and Kobe. Again, we get to see Luffy's backstory, which is the most iconic one of the most iconic flashbacks in anime. So we get to see
the one
Yeah,
him
when we
putting the
get to
hat
see him
on
put on the
Luffy and
hat and everything. I
yeah,
will
yeah.
say the only reason I'm not putting an S tier because they censored the beginning where in the manga we see Luffy stab himself in the with himself in the
Yeah,
eye
yeah,
with a
yeah.
knife. Unfortunately they
But
don't adapt that until later on, and then there's a
yeah,
little bit
yeah.
of filler in the anime if we're just where we see Nami doing her cat burglar stuff like robbing a ship. So there's a little bit of filler, and it doesn't start exactly how the manga starts, but it's still a great introduction to our main character and get the series going.
The new anime reboot will be manga accurate, so
Yeah,
it's gonna just follow the manga.
yeah.
I
So it'll
think
start
that's
off the
what
same way.
Dragon Ball Kai did that, right?
Dragon Ball Kai just cut out all the filler
Took to the
stuff.
manga.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
just
yeah,
stuck a
yeah,
little bit closer to the manga, but yeah, we'll definitely get
yeah.
to see it more actual adaptation, kind of like in the live action, because that also started off with Luffy stabbing his eye and everything. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I agree with A tier. Like I said, and you said too, it's a great introduction to an anime or in a manga. The manga was very similar, but like you said, there was filler in it, which really wasn't bad. But yeah, definitely A tier. Great introduction to the characters we met in it, and yeah, let's get to the
yeah,
next arc. I like
I think we also meet Zoro during Romance Dawn. No, I think we
Yeah,
also meet
yeah, that's
Zoro.
when we
Yeah,
meet Zoro.
yeah,
That's that
yeah,
whole just like the episode one of the live action.
yeah,
We meet Accent Morgan. That was his name,
yeah.
right? Yeah, Accent
So
Morgan.
we get to meet
Oh
one of the
yeah,
most
and
badass characters.
his son, oh god,
Helmeppo?
Kobe and Meppo. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that's another character who I thought we would not see afterwards. Unlike Kobe, here he is, and it becomes he's not as important as Kobe, but he's still there.
yeah.
He's like Kobe's Zoro.
Yeah, basically, yeah, but less
Yeah, yeah.
badass.
Yeah,
Next,
yeah, yeah, more or less.
yeah. Next we move on to Orangetown. This is when I'm pretty sure when we meet Buggy the Clown.
Yeah, yeah,
He also I thought he was gonna be a throwaway villain, like maybe just a villain of the
same.
week. But like of course, he is someone that is a reoccurring character throughout the anime and manga, and we get to see like I don't even want to call him Luffy's rival anymore because he at first he's a threat, but then he's quickly defeated once Luffy knows like how to defeat him, which we get to see
Yeah,
Luffy. We get to see like because at first we think Luffy's just kind of a dummy, but after him recruiting Zoro and then once they meet up with Nami and then we think like oh Nami just like hates Luffy guts because he's a pirate. No, we get to see like hey there's a little bit more. Luffy has a soft spot. He get that whole thing
yeah.
like like I respect people's dreams and what you don't make fun of
There's
someone else's dream and stuff like that.
yeah, even though Luffy is very goofy and he does act kind of like stupidish at time, there is something deep about him about he's not dumb. He's silly and he doesn't always think first before he does things, but he always sees like the good in people. He'd always tell when someone's a good-hearted person because Luffy is, to me, he has like such a pure heart. And
Yeah,
he's such like it's like how Goku is. Goku's just pure of heart. There's no like evil in him or anything. And he always sees the good in people, which is very similar with Luffy. And as we mentioned before in other podcast episodes, Luffy is highly based off Goku a lot, personality wise, not powers and everything, but his personality is very similar to Goku. And Oda himself said he took a lot of inspiration from Goku creating Luffy. But yeah, there's really a lot of depth into Luffy's character, and the further you go into the series, the more you see it. But this is when you start seeing it. You for me, I ended up loving him more and more as a character as these arcs went on, especially Arlong Park, which we'll get to soon.
yeah.
But Orangetown for me, I thought it was all right. It really is not an arc I always go back and watch. Like I usually fast forward through it. I thought it was okay. I mean, it's cool getting an introduction to Buggy and Luffy beat him pretty quickly. It was fun watching like him, Zoro, and Nami team up for the first time
Yeah.
against these goofball pirates. I did love the dog's backstory in that.
Oh, the dog, the
Talk about like
dog.
heartbreaking for a damn dog. What was it, the mayor's dog or something?
Yeah, he was guarding the shop. And of course they play that iconic dun dun dun
Yeah.
dun 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 on the piano. It's like
Oda knows how to.
that's where the emotional beats start coming in, and it's like, oh, this is so we're gonna get comedy, action, and then you're just gonna start crying your eyes out with the
Yeah,
flashback.
Oda knows how to pull on your heartstrings or
Yeah.
tug on your heartstrings. He's very good at doing that, and he did it for a goddamn dog.
Yeah, I
And
was
you know
gonna
what?
I was gonna put this at B tier, but then I realized the dog, so I'm just putting that at A
Yeah,
tier now.
the dog did kind of save it, but overall,
They cut out the
it's
dog in the
it
live action
wasn't-
version. I'm pissed off about that, and the lion. It's like they should
I
have
mean, they
kept
had
those
the
two.
dog. They did have the dog in it, but he just like ran across the screen.
Yeah,
He didn't-
give the dog a bigger role. Give the minor characters a bigger role in the live action. That's my only
It
complaint.
just, I mean, I would definitely really low A tier. I don't even know if I would put it on A tier, but I mean,
Well, let's
that
put it on
dog's
B for
backstory.
Buggy. B for Buggy.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that. We'll put it on the B tier. The next we
Syrup
have
Village.
Maple Syrup Village. Every
Mm.
time I hear of it, I want to eat pancakes or waffles.
This arc,
It
I think this is where I definitely started to see the cracks of the pacing of the anime.
Yeah.
This
yep.
arc felt like it was going on forever, and
Yeah,
it's one of the changes in the live action that I really do like is like how they shortened the Syrup Village.
I think the time length it was shorter too.
Yeah.
Like if you compare the anime length compared to the live action, and they were able to fill in everything.
And I feel like even like this is the arc where we first get to meet Usopp, the sniper king god Usopp, and this is where like
so
that yeah, and that's where this is like this friendship of between Luffy and Usopp starts to form. These are like basically brother relationship.
Yeah.
We get to see like this is the start of their wacky like adventures together, and Usopp always being the one be like, Luffy, are you crazy? And showing Luffy more in that leader role again.
Yeah.
Also
I think
showing
the first.
Oh, go ahead.
What happened? No, I was saying I think the first episode was called like Usopp the Liar or Great Liar or something too.
Yeah.
How he always used to go around his village and saying pirates are coming, and he was always lying.
Basically, had a like Pinocchio or kind of character arc.
Which is why he has that long nose too, as Oda. That's like there's so many little things in One Piece as you go throughout it. You're like, oh, he got that. He's a liar. The long nose, Pinocchio. Like you catch on the little things,
or
like
the
that.
boy who cried wolf. Pirates are coming. Pirates are coming.
Yeah. But I love little things like that. And when he was crying wolf from the beginning, I knew pirates were going to show up in this arc and attack, and nobody was going to believe him, which is what happened. But those are little things I love that Oda does. He throws a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Not media. Like he throws a lot of different genre things. Like you said, Boy Who Cried Wolf, Pinocchio, who has a long nose. Like Pinocchio, when he lies, he's a liar. Even the one villain in it from those cat pirates or whatever, he hypnotizes you, and he reminded me of Michael Jackson. He was always moonwalking.
Yeah.
He had long hair and the hat, smooth criminal look. Like that reminded me of Michael Jackson. Same with like Frankie with it when you first see him, his haircut. Ace Ventura, he wears the same type of shirt as Ace Ventura. Little things like that I notice all throughout it, which is one aspect of One Piece. It's such a subtle thing, but I love it. Yeah, this arc, as you said, the pacing definitely, went, it was slow in it. And, One Piece has that throughout it. There's more arcs, which we'll get to, that does have pacing issues. And this one definitely did drag on a little too long. I forgot how many episodes it was.
It was especially where the pirates are going up the hill, and they just kind of stayed at that point, and it was just like, okay, can we get it, like, and it was like we were just stuck there for a good amount of time. But it's still a good arc where we get to see Usopp's character first develop, where he's like gaining that confidence, and he joins the Straw Hats at the end. We get the Going Merry, one of the most iconic ships in the Straw Hat, in the One Piece universe. So, again, I the villain for this arc is What was
Meh.
it? Is just a little weak.
Kuro,
Yeah,
was it?
yeah. I think Kuro with
Yeah.
the Freddy
I did
Krueger
like,
claws.
yeah, I did like the claws, but yeah, I wasn't a big fan of his villain either. He
Yeah,
was
he
meh.
he was like a very weak villain. So I'm gonna put this arc in B. Again, it's
Ooh,
not.
I thought you were gonna go C.
No,
Because
because
what
I
is
do
it? S here? It's
because
S A B C
D.
D
Yeah, it's
and
ABC.
E or just D?
Yeah, it's just ABCD.
Okay. Yeah, I thought you were gonna put it C. I wouldn't argue with it, but yeah, you can go with B too.
Yeah, like again, the only fault of it is the villain's not that entertaining, and then it has the pacing issues. But other than that, I really do like, getting to know Usopp as a character. At first, I thought he was kind of annoying, but then as like the arc started to grow,
Like Zenitsu from Demon Slayer.
yeah,
Or
like I thought he was
no,
going
like
like that, but during the end of it, when he was protecting, what's her name, Kaya,
yeah,
when he
Kaya.
like stepped up and even though he was getting trashed on, he like I think he at one point grabbed onto Kuroto's leg and he's like, I'm not letting you go after her.
Yeah, he was really trying to protect her. And you know what? This really he was a boy when we first met him, and this did really develop him, out of that boy phase, and
Yeah,
he's getting a little more of a man,
I
for
just wish
example.
that
He's growing up.
I just wish that the anime would give him more iconic moments, because right now
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
at this stalemate where he's like, oh, I'm still like afraid, and making comedy excuses or
I
whatever.
wish he would get like super badass like Yasop. Like even if
Yeah,
it's
like
just little moments.
his dad that just left him, went to pick up a carton of milk and never came back, basically. Shittiest father out there. Well,
But like he like Yasop does not F around.
yeah,
Usopp, I wish he would just have these moments where even like when he fought Luffy for real, he
yeah.
got real serious, and he wasn't
They give him all the
fucking
good,
around.
cool moments in the movies. Unfortunately, like what I've seen lately with One Piece Red and One Piece Stampede,
Oh yeah, yeah,
he's had
yeah.
some badass moments in those movies, and I'm just like, why can't we do more of that? So
Yeah, even like he reminds me of Krillin and Zenitsu. Like they're big scaredy cats, but they have their moments where they're like, all right, I'm done fucking around.
yeah,
I'll bleep it out.
yeah. But
We
let's
curse. We can bleep it.
move on to the next arc, which is the Baratie, where we meet our
Ooh.
favorite cook, da-na-na-na-na, Sanji.
This
Um,
is this arc here. This is when I started really loving One Piece.
yeah.
It was get me there.
This
Good.
has a lot of iconic moments where not only do we get to meet Sanji, we get to see Sanji's backstory, which is really,
Oh, oh yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Hold on, before you go, we got Usopp's backstory, and it was sad, but it was just like a tiny little flashback that was probably like seconds compared to flashback stories we're gonna get. Like, go ahead with Sanji's backstory,
So
for example.
so the thing with the flashbacks, this is where we got to see we kind of see the trend of like, oh, like I mean, I want to say like maybe by the time we meet Usopp, we see the trend of like, oh, these backstories are sad, and then Sanji's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like, it's not that bad until we find out a little bit more, like we find out he's like an assistant cook or whatever, on like the
Yeah, yeah.
ship, meeting Zeph, the head cook, and how Zeph like sacrificed his, well, according to whether the anime or the manga. In the anime, he sacrifices his leg to save Sanji while he's drowning, but in the manga,
Yep.
he
Yeah,
cuts off his own leg and eats it to give
which
Sanji all of his food.
yeah, and they did that in the live action, which I love because that is what really happened. And like we were saying, the new anime that we're gonna get, they're gonna be going down that route too. They're
Yeah.
trying to make it look not as violent because that's gory, man.
Hmm.
Dude cut off from his knee down to eat his own leg, so
So he could
Sanji.
save Sanji. Yeah.
Yeah, and this was one of my favorite backstories out of all the Straw Hats for a while. This was such a good backstory. And later on, if you think this was bad, I feel like it got worse for
Yeah.
Sanji. But we'll get into that when we get to that arc. I really did like, Zeph like didn't even know this kid. Everybody died on both their ships from that storm, but Zeph saved them because they both shared the same dream, which is finding the all blue. So Zeph knew, like, he's getting old. He never found the all blue, and his time, he knew his time was coming. Like, yeah, how much more time does he have left?
And he didn't want
So
Sanji, which is like his adopted son. Like he wanted him to be
yeah,
like, no, I want you to go out and see. Stop wasting your time in this shitty restaurant. Even Sanji says, you know, he's like this shitty restaurant, and it's like
that's another scene I absolutely love. That's probably one of my favorite scenes.
I
In
feel
anime,
like this
and
arc.
in live action, that was good too.
I feel like this arc is peak Sanji. Well, one of the peak Sanji moments that I wish we will return to, because I feel like Sanji, yeah, he's a ladies' man, but I feel like he was a lot more subdued and pre-time skipped, and where, yeah, he'll flirt, but he won't go overboard where he's like a pervert trying to grab boobs or whatever, see women naked. He was a flirt, you know? He was like a...
He was more of a gentleman, too.
Yeah.
He was still a pervert, but he was more gentleman-like.
He wasn't like Master Roshi type of pervert where they just decided to go full-on pervert, but I hate Potitan Sanji.
He might have got more perverted because you got Brooke on there, and he's a big pervert, and I think they were feeding off each other's pervertedness and made them want to be more perverts to all the hot women they see.
Yeah, but going off sidetrack, but this arc also gave us a cool fight between Mihawk and Zoro.
Oh yeah,
that's a very iconic, and it's also what I love about it is that not only are we introducing new characters, but we're also still developing the Straw Hats as well. Like Zoro, right now he's kind of like he's a little cocky. He thinks like, oh, I am already the strongest. I can take on whatever. And then Mihawk just basically humbles him.
He learned that shit the hard. Yeah, he learned that shit the hard way.
And set him back and gave him a new goal. It's like, okay, I need to be stronger and to keep training because if I'm going to be part of this guy's crew, I can't lose and I can't get ahead of myself. So I need to really lock in.
I don't think he realized how strong Mihawk is.
Not just Mihawk, but probably like the Grand Line. Because at this point, we haven't reached the Grand Line yet. And he's like, no, like the Grand Line and like the new world is gonna have threats like stronger than you could possibly. So you need to be ready. So Mihawk is like, it's like, no, I respect you for having that like swordsmanship, like kind of respect, fighting with honor. But like you got some ways to go, fam. So if you can survive this, get stronger and try to beat me.
Yeah, and Mihawk he instantly became like one of my favorite One Piece characters, and he reminded me of not all the way, but it reminds me of like the relationship Luffy got with Shanks, but it's a bit more different. Mihawk and Zoro kind of have a similar, their personalities are similar in a way, and I feel like Shanks and Luffy's personalities are similar in a way as well. So they both fit for each other. Like Shanks is Luffy's role model. Zoro, I know that Mihawk is his role model. He will never admit that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a great fight also. I also loved, even though Don Krieg was a bit of a lame villain, I did enjoy that fight very much between him and Luffy.
Mm-hmm. It's shame they cut his part in the live action, but I understand. Like,
yeah, they just had Mihawk kill him pretty much instantly, which I didn't. It's like, all right, that's fine. That'd be like a whole nother arc. Even Geen, I loved his story in it. And Geen is a bit lame in the live action, but I love that little story with Geen because he's like, these people were good to me and fed me. I was about to die, but then my captain's trying to take over and kill them all and take their ship, and he didn't know.
The problem with him is he was really back and forth. He's like, oh, I wanted help, but no, I got to be my back. So I was kind of getting annoyed.
I got to be dedicated to my captain. Yeah.
There was a lot of conflict with him, but
yeah, I like the conflict with him.
But I do like in this arc that we get a little bit of downtime with the Straw Hats, kind of like spending time together in the restaurant, laughing, pranking each other. Like that one moment when Luffy's picking his nose and trying to put in Zoro's cup, and Zoro's like, "How about you drink it, huh?" It was funny. As getting to see this, like this dysfunctional family basically come together, and it's just so much fun, and it's definitely it's definitely an arc you do not want to skip. So I'm gonna put this at A tier next to Romance Dawn. It has a lot of good moments in it.
I agree with that too. Yeah.
And what it leads to just is what it leads to in the next arc is just pure peak. So Arlong Park.
Yeah.
This is
what I fell in love with One Piece during this arc. I'm like, all right, I'm hooked. Real line sinker, or however you say it. I instantly loved, like, I fell in love with this series watching this arc.
basically this is like the finale arc of like the first
All the
like
arcs. Yeah.
first half of like getting the Straw Hats together, which is like we get to see Nami's more of her backstory because we only get little hints there throughout before, and we see her like look at a wanted poster for Arlong, and you know we see her like still the going merry, and like you know she disconnects from the Straw
she's
Hats.
slowly going merry, right?
Yeah,
and then they used
they
the mothership to catch up.
Yeah, they used I think they used like a lifeboat or something like that. They used something else, but we get to see that like that you know Nami is dealing with some serious shit, and like her backstory. This is where this backstory start really getting depressing.
Yeah,
because we see why she acts like coldly to pirates, why she very like doesn't like having attachments, because you know we see that you know her mother her like her foster mother basically was murdered by pirates, which were fishmen. You know,
and you understand why she hates pirates, and you're like, oh, all right. But you know that was brutal. She was like, what, 7?
She was a young child, and she willingly worked for Arlong after her mother died to save her village, to save everyone from being killed. And she's like, hey, you know, I'm really good at making maps and charts, so you know I can work for you and then pay off this, you know, pay off our village's debt or whatever. So she's doing that. That's why she steals. You know, well she was a kleptomaniac before she worked for Arlong. She was stealing books and stuff.
Yeah, she was. But think about how long he made her draw all those maps until he like let her go off and do her thing. Like he like chained her up for years.
She was basically a prisoner, and it was really rewarding when Luffy comes to her aid, and she has that iconic moment when she breaks down, like when after all her plans have failed trying to save this village, that Arlong is still going to go out and destroy this village. Yeah.
She kept trying to make them leave. She didn't want them to get hurt. And this whole time you're like, why is she acting like an asshole? Like, what's her deal? And you know, Luffy knew it the whole time that something was
Luffy
wrong.
was calling her out. He's like, you know, it's like, I can see you, Luffy. This is where we get to see Luffy's, like his, like judge of character really kicking. Cause he's like, no, like, I know there's more to it. Why you're doing this. Like he knows his crew. He knows his friends to a T. He's like, and you see this throughout all One Piece, where he's
Zoro
like,
wanted to leave the whole time. Same with Usopp. They're like, all right, f her then. Let's go.
But even Sanji was saying like, no, she's in trouble. Like I can also tell, like, not only because is he a simp, but he's like, no, I can know when a lady's in distress and she's hiding it. And that's where you kind of see Zoro and Sanji really butting heads in this arc, because they're like the two sides of the same coin, you know. And when we get
Nami is adopted her stepsister as well.
Yeah.
Shit, what was her name?
Oh, I forget what her name is. But
oh god, yeah, me too. Oh well.
We're not true One Piece fans, but I do like after seeing her backstory and then seeing her in a position where she feels hopeless, helpless even, and she just breaks down and cries, and she looks at Luffy and she's just like, Luffy, help me. He takes off his hat, which is such a treasure to him. He only let Nami like have it once to like repair
at that point. He's the only one, that's ever touched his hat to that point.
Because that's his treasure. That's his, you know, his sacred treasure. Gives it to Nami, puts it on her head, and then goes, "Of course I will." Then walks to Usopp, Sanji, and Zoro and said, "Let's go." And you have the iconic down, down, down. Dun, 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 dun. And then doing that walk to Arlong Park, just locked in, and you know these fishmen are about to see hell. Like they're about to kick some ass. I'm just like, let's go. This is what put me
Yeah,
in.
it got you so hyped. But that was one of the most iconic One Piece moments, similar to how Goku going Super Saiyan for the first time is one of the most iconic Dragon Ball moments. Very similar. One Piece has a lot of them, but yeah, this I feel like was one of the first iconic One Piece moments throughout the entire
Definitely
series.
top 5 if you're just counting this arc.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
definitely top 5. That's why I'm going to put this arc in S
as
rank.
a series.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite arcs, especially early on. To me, this was a great. All the arcs we've talked about up to here is the East Blue arc, and I feel like this was a great wrap up arc to wrap up the East Blue.
Yeah.
And even like the whole fights with everything. One of my favorite parts too is, Luffy, they were going back and forth for a while, but at the very end, when like Arlong is saying how he's going to keep her as a slave all the time, and Luffy's like, it just, something snapped in him, and he just ended Arlong right then and there.
Yeah. And he just.
And there's a lot of. Go ahead.
No, but I also like how he like destroys the map room, and he's just like, I'll like tear down everything like you built. Like they kind of adapted that in the live action, where it's like,
Yeah.
where
Which
he
I
just
love.
destroys that, destroys this thing.
Battle axe.
Yeah, battle axe. It just whoop, destroys the whole building down. Getting rid of like all that like that childhood trauma for Nami, and he's like, Nami, you are our friend, when he like stands up from above the rubble, and she just like breaks down and realizes like, you know what, I'm gonna follow this guy to the ends of the earth. So it's like so it's such a great arc.
Just him beating Arlong, it was him, like you said, like erasing Nami's trauma from her and like showing her like, I'll always protect you, you're always going to be my friend no matter what.
Yeah.
He was trying to rid that of her so it wouldn't, be a stain on her for the rest of her life.
Yeah. And it's also like we get the rest of the Straw Hats.
No, Chico. That's her
Chico.
Sister's name.
Okay.
Chico.
No
Chico. Nojiko.
Oh,
Chico.
But the rest of the Straw Hats also get a moment to shine. Like we see Usopp, he's able to take out a fishman. Of course, Zoro and Sanji, they handle business and have their fights. So
I think Arlong was shook when he saw that crazy ass scar Zoro had, because anybody would have died from something like that.
Yeah, he's just like, "Whoa, these guys out human."
Yeah, he's like, "How are you alive from this?" Because Mihawk did give him like a wound that could have been deadly to other people, but Zoro's such a strong-willed person that he was able to fight it.
Yeah. Moving on to the next arc, which is Loguetown. This is the start of which now we're kind of going into like where the second season of live action is going to, which is going to cover all of Alabasta. Yeah. Now we're going into Loguetown, which is like the middle ground, like transition.
It's the beginning of the end.
It's the transition from the East Blue arc to the Grand Line arc now, where now we're seeing our heroes transition from their home to now they're going out to the bigger world. And Loguetown is that transition piece where basically we're seeing the beginning of where oh god, what is his name? Gold D. Roger was executed.
Oh yeah, that's why I was saying the beginning of the end. So that was the end of Gold Roger and his era, but it's the beginning of Luffy and his era.
Yeah.
So Loguetown's like the beginning of the end. And someone I saw in a video said something really smart: epilogue and prelogue. So it's the epilogue of Roger and it's the prelogue of Luffy's story.
The prologue, yeah.
Yeah, prologue, yeah. So Loguetown, get it?
Yeah.
Epilogue, prelogue. Yeah, it's little things like that. It's like this dude Oda just it blows my mind with the shit that he does.
Does that mean we're gonna be going back to Loguetown at the end of the series, maybe?
No. I'm saying like Roger,
no, I'm just saying, but no, I'm saying for like Luffy as well.
I mean, maybe who knows?
Maybe all the Straw Hats.
I don't even know how they're gonna do the ending. If they're all gonna split up at the end, or if they're just gonna continue sailing as pirates and he's ruling the seas. I don't know. I do know everyone's gonna stop off and see everyone. Like Usopp will see Kaya, Laboon, and Brooke. Robin's got something. We're gonna Luffy will see the people back in his town. He'll probably see the old lady that raised him.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of that.
I wouldn't be surprised if like near the end of the series and I know we're going off a little bit off topic, but with Loguetown, it's an island that's been such a staple in the One Piece history, where not only was it where Goldie Roger was executed, but the people who watch his executions were key players into the One Piece universe. So we have Shanks, Mihawk, Crocodile, Smoker. Who else?
Yeah.
We saw
Buggy
Buggy
was
was
there.
there.
So many people were there, and
many
I feel
people.
Like Dragon was there.
Doflamingo. I think Doflamingo was there, right?
Possibly. Yeah, I believe he was.
And then what's the one from what's the one warlord from Thrillerborg? I forget his name.
Oh, Gecko Moria.
Gecko Moria was there, so a lot of people who become players for the future arcs, they were on that same island, and then later,
who knows how many more that they didn't show.
Yeah,
tell you. I think Ivankov was there. Who knows? Whitebeard might have been there, and we don't know it yet. But a lot of people were there.
But this is basically the transition point where we see, our characters get new gear. We get Usopp. He gets his little what do you goggles. We get we see Zoro meet up with Tashigi, and we get to see him do the iconic. All right, let's see what's more powerful: this sword's curse when he's getting new swords, or his
I
luck.
love that.
And he's just like he sticks his arm out, and the sword like goes around him. So
and they were like, it's gonna cut your arm off. It wasn't big action fighting. What I liked more about this arc was that little stuff. Zoro getting new swords, Usopp finding goggles. He had a little story.
Yeah.
Sanji doing his thing. I loved Luffy's little stories in it.
Wait, he goes up to the what was it, the podium or the stand where Roger was killed, and Buggy captures him and then puts him in the thing, and he's like, "All right, I'm gonna kill you right where the Pirate King stood," and Luffy's like, "Well, guys, looks like I'm dead," but then by the the will of D, just lightning strikes down. Yeah. And then saves them, which I thought that's what it was. It was basically like, because we find out later, like, those who have the initial D is like, they're destined to be God's enemy. So I thought it was something like.
You think it was the will of D?
I thought it was like some JoJo stuff where it's like, oh, fate was saying no, he has to live longer. It could be. But now what I've heard is that this is where we get our first introduction of not only Smoker, which is like, the antagonist following Luffy, but we also get a sneak preview of Dragon, who we find out is his father, Luffy's father, and supposedly, not only saved Luffy once, but twice. What I've heard is that Dragon might have some kind of like devil fruit power where he controls the weather. So I know there's a lot of theories on that.
Yeah, there is a lot of theories on it. I personally think he either has a devil fruit to control the weather, or it's wind, or it could be lightning. So it could be one of those. It could be none of that. Maybe it is the will of D, and Luffy didn't realize it, but willed like the lightning to do that, because he can technically control lightning, as you've seen in Wano.
And this is where we see, when Luffy's kind of immune to lightning because it didn't affect him. But you see Buggy just fried in the corner. He's like, ah. So, but yeah, this is honestly,
and does his hat like land right next to him or something?
I think so too, yeah. And then they're all flee, and of course we get our first Logia type devil fruit, which is Smoker. Seeing this guy's like, he can't. It's basically a foreshadow for him meeting Crocodile, basically.
Yeah, and I like Smoker a lot. He's one of my more favorite Marines.
Yeah,
and to me, he's like a good-hearted Marine.
He's good-hearted, but he's definitely not the brightest. he's definitely not the brightest Marine out there, because he doesn't really think things through.
yeah. I do like back then we didn't know that Dragon was Luffy's father. I think we don't find out till Enies Lobby?
Until the end of Enies Lobby, yeah. So
you're wondering the whole time, like, who the hell is this guy that rescued him for no reason? So
I know we're jumping around a bit, but like I would definitely put Loguetown in A tier. I don't think it's like
it's a fun arc.
It's a fun arc, and it's a good transition piece to getting to the next arc.
Ending the main East Blue arc, and then heading into where bigger adventures await, and a lot more crazy shit's gonna happen. And this one, you got to get more serious. Since we're talking about that, and we already ranked this, let's get into the next arc, which is a very short arc.
Reverse Mountain. So this is so this is when they finally answer the Grand Line, and we meet a big whale. It's a whale.
It's a huge whale. Holy crap! Like the size of skyscrapers in New York City, and who knows how wide. You see, if you watch live action, you see how big this freaking whale is.
Oh, yeah.
It is huge, huge.
It's
but
huge.
Laboon, I love Laboon. And, you know, as we were talking about before, characters are going to pop back up. And there is a great backstory with Laboon and another Straw Hat member we'll get to later.
Yeah.
I mean, we could talk about it now. So, of course, if you haven't watched the whole of One Piece, there will be spoilers for all these arcs.
Yeah, we'll make sure to put a tagline before at the beginning of this video.
Yeah.
Spoilers. But,
yeah.
But this arc...
Laboon,
yeah, not only we get to be introduced to Laboon, but we get introduced to one of Goldie Roger's crew members. We also get Crocus, and he gives the name of the last island, which is Laugh Tale, where the One Piece is held.
He was Roger's doctor. Like
he was the medic, and we also get an introduction to Vivi during this. Vivi. So we're not sure what her role is. Yeah, and Baroque works. It makes it one of the bounty hunters or whatever.
So right when they get into Reverse Mountain, you know, shit's just popping off already.
Yeah. So a lot of things are like, this is kind of like a more like, I want to say, informational kind of arc. It's kind of like basically like setting up the path. Basically, it's like saying, okay, this is where we're going. And then, you know, you have Vivi who joins along.
Yeah. At first, she comes off as a villain. I mean, this arc's so short. Like, you think she's a villain at first in this arc. It's so short.
Yeah.
So, at this point, you think Vivi is in Baroque Works. She's one of the agents. She's with Mr. Nine, I believe. And they're trying to kill Laboon so they can eat him. Well, not eat him, but, you know, feed their entire village, which is Whiskey Peak, which, I mean, I guess we could jump into it.
Yeah, but
it's such a short arc.
It's a short arc, and
I'll
put it in B, for Laboon. But, I do like the moments where Luffy, like, finds out Laboon's backstory of how he felt abandoned by his former pirate crew, and he's been like slamming his head against the Reverse Mountain, damaging himself.
Which is why scars all over his head. And like we said with the dog, with the backstory in Orangetown, now you have a goddamn whale with a backstory, and you feel so bad for this whale. And you know what? Crocus like built stuff inside the whale, and he kind of like lives in the whale, which is kind of funny. But he lives in there, you know, to give him medication, like, because he keeps ramming his head into the wall, and it like mellows him out, whatever he's given him. I forgot what it is, but yeah, Laboon's like he's trying to get to his friends, which is another pirate crew.
Yeah,
and you know, we said spoilers. It's Brooke's pirate crew, and you find that out later on, and you're like, oh my god, because Brooke mentions that they had a whale that they left at the beginning of the Grand Line, whichever it is. Yeah, and then you realize it's Laboon. It's like, and they do tell him that Laboon's there, still waiting for him. So that's one of the reunions I'm so excited to see. Like when we get towards the end of One Piece.
Yeah,
because really his whole crew's dead. Brooke's the only one that survived. But
I do like Luffy's like, hey, you know, your crew might not come back, but we definally will. You know, and he paints the straw hat symbol on there, and he's like, you know, we will come back, and you know, spend more time with you and stuff like that. So I do like he gives that whale more hope, and you know, not just basically being suicidal, freaking caving his head in.
Yeah. So he probably chilled him out from that, and just imagine the excitement from Laboon when he realizes Brooke is alive, and he starts playing the song that he loves.
Alive. I use quotation marks on that.
Yeah. little bit of Brooke, little bit of Brooke. Oh my God, what's the word I'm looking for?
Humor?
Personality, I guess. Oh, Brooke humor. Yeah, there we go. Brooke humor. All right, so yeah, this arc's good, and it jumps right into Whiskey
Whiskey
Peak, and
Peak.
we're following Vivi and Mr. Nine over there. We get to this town, and it's like, oh man, this is a pretty cool town. They're so friendly. They're offering them food, drinks. They're getting drunk, filling their bellies, especially
A
Luffy.
town that seems to welcome pirates, apparently, but
Yeah, which is it's a little strange and felt sketchy right off the bat.
it seemed like Nami and Zoro were the only ones that kind of like something a little sus here. So
Yeah. That's what's good about, if that was just like Luffy and Usopp and Sanji.
Luffy. Well, this is the one thing I don't like about this arc is that Luffy, when the bounty hunters,
Rogue
works, yeah, when they ambush
like Rogue from X-Men.
Baroque, there we go.
Yeah.
When they ambush Zoro, and they all attack him, and Zoro, which by the way, iconic moment is Zoro just takes out all of these guys.
I think there's like 100 or more.
Yeah, and he just takes out all of these guys, but then there's like
I think the name of the episode was like Zoro versus 100 Agent Baroque work agents or something.
This is where we get to see like Zoro is not someone to be messed with. He will take out quite a large number of enemies, but
even though Mihawk messed him up, Zoro still isn't weak.
Yeah, at this time I think this time he's fully recovered, so he has his strength back, and he's like, I'm going to show off my new skills, and he just completely decimates like all
especially
those guys.
The big muscular women. I thought she was going to a pretty good fight with him.
They didn't stand a chance, but the only thing I didn't like about this arc was that when Luffy wakes up, he's like, oh, why would you kill these guys? No! And then they get into a fight, and I'm just like, does Luffy not understand? Like, I don't think...
I think he did take it too far. It was hilarious in a way, because
I feel like it was almost like fan fiction, because I feel like Oda wanted to put, like, fan service in there to see, like, Luffy versus Zoro, who would win or whatever. I think that was fan service.
That could have been.
Because it never happens again, and we see that Zoro trusts Luffy, and Luffy trusts Zoro, they understand each other, captain and, and like first mate, I think that's what he is, like,
his first mate,
So they have that, like, relationship, and it's kind of weird that they just started fighting because of this weird thing.
Feed us.
Yeah, because of his gluttony ass wanted more food or something like that. So it's just,
he was all fat.
Yeah, it's really weird. I hope they don't have that in the live action. I wouldn't mind if they took that out, because it just felt out of character.
I watched it again recently because seeing the trailer to season 2 made me want to rewatch from Loguetown to
Alabasta?
Drum Island. To Drum Island. I'm gonna continue watching it though, but yeah, like it was funny, but it does feel like it was kind of like, all right, come on, Luffy, hear him out first at least.
Yeah, I mean, it only lasted an episode, but it's still.
Yeah, it was funny because Mr. 5 from Baroque Works, the guy who flicks boogers. I think he's Mr. 5.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's 5.
Yeah, so it's him, and then the one girl with the blonde hair, Miss Valentine or whatever her name is. She'll like drop down on you, and she can make herself weigh tons. Yeah. So they show up, and like they're trying to interfere with their fight, and Zoro and Luffy are like so in and serious about fighting. They just keep like beating the shit out of them quickly to make them get away.
Yeah, they one shot. These guys are like, the only trouble they were giving was Vivi and her assistant. And around this time we found out. Around this time we found out that Vivi was an undercover spy, and because she's actually a princess, and she's trying to uncover she's trying to uncover this hidden plot against a warlord named Crocodile.
I loved the Crocodile buildup, and this is where it started.
Yeah, and this is when they're going up against a real major threat, which is a warlord, who we found out the other one was Mihawk. So we know how strong Mihawk is. Imagine, if they're part of the same like tier, the same group, they're really going to have to lock in, because Zoro was already having trouble with Mihawk. So are they going to be able to take down Crocodile? So it
Yeah.
definitely puts some tension. There's a lot of suspense. This is when they like, okay, we're gonna have to help Vivi out. Of course, Nami's like, no, we're not helping you out with some, without some ching, of course.
Yeah. So they agree to it, and she gets Luffy and Zoro to stop fighting. Doesn't she just go clink and knock them both on the head or something?
Yeah, thank God for Nami. She's always the most rational one in the group, so I love that.
Yeah.
She keeps the team together.
Like Luffy can defeat all these warlords and freaking Yonko, but then Nami clocks him over the head, and he's like, "Ow!"
Yeah.
And like some of the women have like this Bulma Nami power, and it's just funny.
I don't care if you got Ultra Instinct. I'm still gonna whoop you.
Yeah. This was like a little fun arc. It was pretty quick too.
Yeah. Would you rank this in A or B?
I'd probably put it B.
B.
Yeah, because like you said, the Luffy Zoro thing. Luffy, you got to hear him out, dude. And it could have been fan service. It still was like hilarious in a way, but it seemed like it was unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also meet Nico Robin for the first time as well. I'm like, who is this?
Hey, sexy lady, down. I like your butt. But yeah, but she's a bit of a mystery here because we don't. We get a little bit of an idea of what her powers are, but not fully.
Not really, yeah. With Vivi's action, you could see that she's like one of the top tier, villains in Baroque works, or one of the most powerful ones.
Mm-hmm.
And you could see Vivi's reaction, like, "Holy shit, it's Miss All Sunday," which was her name then. But so the Straw Hats agree to protect Vivi and get her to Alabasta and get her there safe. So yeah, we'll rank this a B. Whiskey Peak. The next one though,
Little Garden.
I'm mixed with Little Garden. Some aspects I liked, some I didn't.
This is this is the arc where we get the first glance of the giants.
Yeah, I love the whole having giants in this world.
Yeah, this is really where the world starts to open up even more because we're like, oh god, we got giants here. We got
and dinosaurs
and all these giant creatures, and it's it's like, oh wow,
it's getting more and more adventurous, which I love. Adventure-y stuff.
Yeah, because we're going away from like normal, villages, islands, and stuff like that, marines. So now we're going to these unknown islands that have all these different like fauna and plants and everything that are trying to kill you. All these different creatures and races. We have like giants and now we have all these these assassins working for this warlord now coming after the Straw Hats. So there's like a lot of danger, but it's like also exciting because we're we're on the run and we're trying to get to Alabasta. But now we have Mr. 3, showing up.
And they're stuck at this island because the log pose said that's the next place to go, and then they meet the giants and they're like, oh, you got to stay here a year because the log pose will tell you where to go next.
We get more information about the log pose. Yeah
and then Dory, the one with the long beard, not the one with the puffy beard, that's Bragi, he says to Nami or Vivi that, oh, you got to stay here a year before the log pose resets and tells you where to go next. They're like, a year? Like, we can't stay here a year. So they're kind of like screwed in a way. But it's funny because Nami and Usopp are like frightened to death that the giant's going to eat them, but he like wants to feed them. And then they think, oh, he's trying to fatten us up to eat us. And then Luffy and Vivi went off on their own to explore. They meet the other giant and he's real friendly to them, and they're real friendly, chill, cool giants. And you see these dudes been fighting for
like hundreds of years.
They've been fighting this duel, and it's been going on for so long they forgot what they were even fighting about. They're warriors. They're warriors.
And this is where like Usopp like kind of idolizes them and he wants to be like them, like these strong like warrior type, like he idolizes him. He respects him and everything. So I love that we kind of set that up for Usopp's character as well. But I think this is a really fun arc. I guess I would put it in A tier because I feel like, well, what do you think?
I just didn't like I didn't like how easily like Mr. 3 captured. I like it was smart how he did it, but he captured them pretty easily. And like Zoro, he
Yeah.
got stuck in the world so quickly. Same with the Giants. I feel like the Giants would have broke out of that, even though they did. And the Giants are really strong, and you're going to see later on how
Right.
strong these Giants are. So I felt like they made Mr. 3 a little too overpowered because later on,
Right.
weak as shit.
Yeah, that's like
More
the
goes
Buggy
on.
problem that they have. It's like, oh, Buggy's like this threat, but
Yeah,
then once they figure it out, he's taken out easily, and then
yeah.
he's not really a
But I
problem
mean,
anymore.
later in the series, you see how weak these guys are. So I feel like they made them a little too overpowered. And like Crocodile, I think they made him a little too weak in Alabasta because I feel like he was stronger during Marineford. But like Mr. 3, I felt like he got the upper hand too quickly, and then Mr. Five's there, Booger Flicker guy. Like, yeah, Usopp and Vivi are having a little trouble because it's Usopp and Vivi.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like Sanji went off on his own because Oda knows if Sanji was with them, they would have whooped all their asses super quick.
Yeah.
And then I hated the one girl who wrote or whatever on your back and messed with your like, oh man, you
Oh,
depressed
yeah, I
or
remember.
you
Yeah.
angry at everything. Yeah. That was maybe it's just part of their characters and it was supposed to annoy you because they annoyed me so
Miss
much.
Golden Week. I think that's what her name
Yeah,
is.
her or yeah, whatever her name was, her and Mr. 3. I just felt like they were a bit overpowered. I feel like this would be more B tier,
B
Little
tier.
Garden.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I love the world building in it, and even the end. You see that gigantic goldfish. And they use Dory and Bragi, makeup, and they forget what they're fighting over. I mean, they remember, but they're like, yeah, let's forget this and get back to Elbaph. And then they kill that giant goldfish as they
Yeah, they
set
split it like
in
right
their
in
mouth.
half. That was like about to eat the Dory Mary. Yeah.
I mean, it did technically eat them. They went in its mouth, and then they did that cool little move.
Yeah.
But yeah, Little Garden wasn't that bad. Next is Drum Island. So we
Drum
see like
Island. Dori
yeah,
chop.
yeah. So we're gonna get a new member. Nami gets sick. This arc I enjoy. Just like I feel like this arc is like how Baratie was for East Blue. I
Right.
enjoyed it a lot. This is probably one of my favorite arcs, actually. And then we like I said, we got introduced to a new member. Nami's sick, and they need a doctor. So they need a new member in general. Like Luffy's looking for specific members. Like he
Hmm.
was looking for a cook, found a cook in Sanji. He was looking for a swordsman, found Zoro, navigator, Nami. Now he's looking for a doctor. And as time goes, you see what other crewmates he's looking for. Like we're gonna need a shipwright at some point because Usopp can't fix everything on the ship.
Yeah.
We're gonna need he wants a musician, so now they're looking for a doctor, and this village is supposed to be like a village that has like some of the best doctors and a ton of doctors, but then they get there and there's only one lady, old hag, who's a doctor that people are, they call her like the witch doctor because she's like so mean.
Yeah, and she's the only one left because the villain of this orc, Wapol, he
Yeah,
basically took over this kingdom, and he basically like took all of the doctors just for himself.
yeah,
And Wapol's a strange villain where I feel like
he is.
he's one of those villains that are just are so weak but only strong in this arc because of certain circumstances, because we gotta have a weak villain for the Straw Hat to overcome. Like, you have
Yeah,
Usopp against
sorry.
oh god, that's right in my ear.
All right, go ahead.
Like, this is like Wapol is just like, the thing is, it's like we see him get defeated early on before they reach Drum Island when he takes a bite out of the Gory Mary,
That
and
was
Luffy
funny.
just
They
sends
freak
him
out.
off. And
Yeah, but
like,
they're freaking out because he took a bite out of the shit. When I saw it, I'm like, what the hell what is this? And he ate a knife?
yeah, it's a really weird
More comedic.
power. And again, I feel like there's not really any tension other than Luffy trying to get Nami to a doctor. That's the only real I think the only real threat that's going on. Wapol's not a threat to Luffy. He's a threat to
Nami's
everyone.
life of her
Yeah,
sickness.
like
And she will die from what she got.
yeah. So that's the only part that's like, oh, okay, this is this is bad. Like, the time is ticking.
Yeah,
But with Chopper,
he was a lame villain.
yeah,
He's more of a comedic.
he's
villain,
a more comedic villain. Yeah.
which they do have, and I don't mind it here and there, but.
But I do like we get to see the little fuzzball, the mascot of the Straw Hats, Tony Chopper, who is this deer that ate the human fruit. We get his backstory. Of course, it's it's sad
Heartbreaking.
because his family basically disowns him because he's now like more human than deer.
Yeah, he ate the human fruit.
He meets his doctor that educates him all about the sciences of medicine and
Yeah.
And he's also dying, but he wants to go.
He's a wacko.
He's a crazy wacko. He wants to, but he wants to has this dream of having these cherry blossom flowers start growing on Drum Island, and
yeah, and it's like a winter. It's like kind of like Canada, Alaska. Like it's super cold, always cold.
Yeah.
I mean, Canada's not always cold, but for the most part, it is.
Yeah. But I do like the moments when Luffy gets over there, and at first Luffy and Sanji trying to eat him. They're trying to eat Tony. They're chasing him around, and then eventually Luffy's like, it's like, oh wow, you're a cool reindeer. How about you be part of my ship? You can transform as well. You have these different transformations. Yeah, join my crew. And Nami talks to him, and we find out he's a little shy dude. He like scared of people, but then you see him, he starts to grow on the Straw Hats.
He's never really known what friends are either.
Yeah,
he was an animal. He human fruit.
He always lived in fear against humans, and was casted
humans
out
always
by
tried to kill them. They thought he was like Sasquatch.
Yeah,
and he almost died at one point. That's when Hero saved him.
Mm-hmm.
And he was even scared of him at first. And Chopper's always had trust issues of trusting people. And you feel bad for him. And it made his backstory, even more heartbreaking.
Drum Island, I put it on rank A. Again, I love...
Yeah, rank A. Yeah. I mean, it is one of my favorite. Is it one of your favorites? Favorites? Like I said, the only thing I really couldn't grasp is why he pretty much wanted to unalive himself. Furlick.
We'll put it at B tier.
And then
we'll put it at B tier just because of Wapol.
Oh no, I was saying maybe A or S.
Oh,
no,
A
I'm good with
A. Yeah, I'll put it on A.
Yeah,
keep it on A.
Yeah, I'm saying how much because I really did love this art. And the other doctor, what was her name? She looked after Chopper more of a mother figure towards him. And she took care of him, looked after him. And, a lot of people in the village hated her. But, at heart, she's really a good person. And it does show in the anime as you learn more about them. Because they kind of made it seem like, oh, no, watch out. She's a mean, wicked old lady. Another thing I love, too, is, the end fight. Luffy's calling Chopper his friend. And Chopper's he doesn't know how to feel about it. He loves that someone's calling him a friend because he's never experienced what a friend is, you know? And it's such a heartwarming moment. And when Luffy put up Chopper's pirate flag when they're fighting Wapol was another great moment in One Piece. I really loved that moment. And it was pretty much Luffy saying, you can do this, Chopper, I got your back. And, I'm not going to let these guys, take over and bring you down. We got your back.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty much showing Chopper we're your friends. We're going to help you with this. And then that eventually does lead, Chopper does see what friendship is, and these guys aren't messing around and pretending to be your friend. And eventually he does join the crew, which I loved. Again, another type of character that's very odd, a freaking talking reindeer. And here's another thing, heavily based off Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Mm-hmm.
Little things like that I just love with One Piece, as I'll keep mentioning stuff like that as we go along with this. But yeah, it was a great arc. I really love that arc.
Yeah, but we'll finish off with the final arc of this
Alabasta or Arabasta, as in I think Japanese it's Arabasta, AR instead of AL.
Yeah, But
you never knew that? I'm like Arabasta.
yeah, because I think it's like the letter R. I mean, the L does not exist in the Japanese language or something like that.
Like that. Yeah. So
But Alabasta, I'm already putting on S tier. This is one of
yeah,
one of the again top 5 peak arcs of like One Piece in general, where it's like you have the Straw Hats trying to stop the civil war that's orchestrated by Crocodile. We see that Crocodile is
behind the scenes,
Crocodile.
Roadworks and Crocodile,
Yeah.
planting seeds to make it turn out this way. And Crocodile took over Alabasta, and he's making it look like he's the savior of Alabasta with the stuff that he's doing. But
Yeah.
really, behind the scenes, he's doing some shady, sketchy shit, politician type stuff that you don't see on the outside. It's something that's hidden on the inside. And that's why his Baroque work agents are able to get away with all this stuff. He's a very sneaky villain, but he is one of my favorite villains in One Piece. He was a great first main big villain. Like all these other villains, are like they're just build-up villains or Wapple, goofy villains. Same with Buggy. Buggy's goofy. Arlong, that was a serious villain. But Crocodile to me was like the first big main villain. And I always remember people telling me as I was watching it, wait till you get to Alabasta. That's probably the first best arc. But I mean, there was a lot of build-up for good stuff until we got there, So it's One Piece's first big arc. Also, we get introduced to Luffy's brother, which is one of your favorite characters.
Yeah, Ace, let's go. Yeah, but we find out Luffy has a brother, not by blood, but like he has a brother that also has a devil fruit. He ate the was it fire flame meat,
flame or something like that. Yeah, they have like different names in Japanese and like the U.S. and Japanese versions are different. But yeah, I think it's flame. So he can manipulate fire. He can just create it. So, like with Smoker, Logia types. They can just create this stuff. Same with Aokiji, how it can just create ice and shit, or Akainu with lava. So those devil fruits to me are like one of the most powerful, and I just wonder, have we seen an awakening Logia? Maybe Blackbeard?
Maybe
no? I don't know if we have. Oh, Magellan from Impel Down, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I feel like Ace, though, never really got to hit that level of how powerful he could really be.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, spoilers, he got killed off a little too early before we could really see how strong he can get.
Yeah, so Sabo seemed like he knew like how to tap in the full potential at the moment. Yeah. Maybe yeah. But going back to Alabasta, I mean, again, it's a really good arc. I love all the fights in it. We see iconic moments where, like, Luffy's like telling off Vivi, like, "Hey, we're not, doing this because, for the fun of it. We're doing it because
locks her right in the face." Jesus.
But he gives her a reality check saying like people are gonna die no matter what. Even if you do try to stop this civil war. The main threat is Crocodile, so we need to take him out. We need to go to the source, which, we see Luffy be like, he's a little bit tactical in his own way, makes sense. Yeah. And he's like, we're friends, aren't we?
Fool you. He's not really stupid. He's different. Yeah.
But when he's fighting Crocodile as well, he puts together like, oh, your weakness is like water because you can't hold your form with that, so... We find, you find out that there is a way to fight Logia types minus, Haki. So I kind of like that more than just
really became a thing.
Yeah, I honestly like this more because it makes you have to think than just relying on some power. I think that it's like, oh, there's a workaround around your devil fruit. So I like that.
That first fight, he almost died, and Nico Robin.
In the sand, yep. That was an epic fight.
Nico Robin was doing her own shit. Like, she really wasn't there to support Crocodile. She just really had no other choice in life because she's been wanted since she was a child for no goddamn reason.
We get a little bit of backstory with her, not a lot, but we know she's like, she has a high bounty as a kid. We know that
you're wondering why she saved Luffy after Crocodile technically almost killed him. So
we're also we also get a first in this arc, the first shot of Polnogryph and kind of get more information about them, how they can lead to the different ancient weapons, but also can lead to the location of the One Piece. I believe it was stated in this arc as well. It contains hidden knowledge about the what was it, the Void period, or the
Century, the Void
Void Century or something like that.
Zemar. Yeah, it's like pretty much the secrets of the world.
Yeah.
And the government really doesn't want people to know this. And there's, I think, the blue ones and the red ones. The red ones, I think.
The red ones are the location to the One Piece. The blue ones give information about the weapons or like their locations. Like Crocodile was after, I think he was after Pluto, weapon Pluto.
Yeah. And he was basically just using Nico Robin because she's a geologist. That's what archaeologist. There we go.
She can read. She's the only one that can read the polnographs. And
because they killed all of them in her village. Yeah. That's another thing we'll get up to next episode.
Mm-hmm. And just to try to wrap things up, but I do love the fight with Luffy and Crocodile. I love the fight with Zoro, the Straw Hats. Everyone gets their moment of shine.
I loved all the fights.
The team up with Chopper and Usopp, doing that
was great.
Taking on the other guys.
The guy, the big fat guy,
the mole, and then the
mole lady. I hated her.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, they were able to defeat them. Yeah, everybody had their own little fight, which was really cool. But they all had their own Karu ducks to ride on.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool. It's honestly it's such a great, like, kind of bigger scale arc. Kind of giving a tease of like how the pirates, the Straw Hats, like are able to.
The Baroque, the top agents. Yeah. We meet Bon Clay, and as I mentioned, characters you think that are done come back. He becomes a really big part of the story and a character.
He's even first introduced as like the Straw Hats don't even know him as a Baroque. Like he's just kind of as this weird guy that can transform into other people. But then he's like conflicted. I'm like, I don't know if I really want to kill you guys because you guys are like my friends, and would chill with that. And
he didn't realize who they were at first.
He didn't realize first, but then after he was conflicted, and then
when he's switching his faces, Vivi sees him as her father's face.
Yeah,
she's like, wait, what? And then after he left, that's when she's like, one of the Baroque Works agents, I think she knew one of his devil fruits, and that's how they figured out he was number 2. So that's when they did that little tattoo or writing thing.
Which is an iconic moment as well, because it's like it's not only them to identify themselves of who's not a fake, but it's also like a promise as well, as like no matter where we are, this mark will always means that we're friends. And when they're after the dust is settled, they defeated Crocodile and they're about to escape because now the Marines are coming because they found out about like, oh god, the warlord messed up this country.
Smokers chasing him, and once they first meet Crocodile got Luffy, Usopp, I think Vivi and Smoker or Zoro all locked in this cage down below, and the bars are sea prism stones, so they can't get out of it. And like that whole scene, there was so many fun scenes in it. There's the Civil War battle that's like going down, and
the best part is definitely the ending when they're leaving, and then Vivi's like, it's like I have to stay here, I can't come with you for now, but if you ever come back, would you still consider me a friend? And of course, the Straw Hats can't out loud say it because the Marines are watching, and if they find out that Vivi's part of the crew, she could be in trouble. So instead, they leave a message, raising their arms with the X, and then you hear the song go on. It's like da 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 da. And it's just such a great goodbye to Vivi. Vivi was a character that I thought was annoying and I didn't really like that much, but she did have her moments where she starts to grow on you, and she's not really the strongest member of the Straw Hats, which she is kind of an honorary member of the Straw Hats. So she's like another sister to Nami as well. So it's like she's like another sister to the crew initially, and it's like everyone gets along with her. They have so many great moments with her, and it's just like,
Yeah, that's another reunion I'm looking forward to.
yeah, it's such
'Cause
a
they're gonna be-
heartfelt goodbye, but it's just like, I don't
Did
know,
you
it's just
think she
cute.
was going to join the crew?
I thought she was, and to be honest, I was
Yeah.
like kind of against it because it's like, what do you bring to the table, really? Because all these guys have their unique quirks. She has more of like that. She's more like intelligent, like, oh, I got the diplomatic thing going on, where she's like a princess.
Yeah,
and can
yeah. And they
really
really
get-
didn't put that on the crew. She was more of a friend,
Yeah.
which they make plenty along the way, like
But
Yamato.
but they still get a new crewmate at the end of the arc, which is
which I prefer
Robin.
much better. Yes, yes.
Which is funny enough. She has
She's
been
the
the
only-
only member that was not asked by Luffy to join.
And she joined like herself, and he's like, okay.
He's like, all right, bet you don't seem that bad actually. So so everyone else is against it, but it's like
Robin isn't. She. We'll get to her backstory. She has one of the saddest backstories as well, and she really wasn't a bad person. She had nowhere to go, and Crocodile was like her only option at the point at that time. She said, "Since you destroyed everything, I have nowhere to live. Now I'm gonna live here and join your crew." And Luffy's like, "Oh, okay." Even though a few of them were against it, but then they all start getting along with her and realize, she isn't that bad. But we'll get more into her and Skypiea and down the line. But
and part 2, so this is the end of part 1.
Before that, I just want to mention Zoro's fight against Mr. One.
Oh yeah.
Zoro does upgrade. He didn't know how to cut steel, and Mr. One was just his devil fruit was like blades and steel. And in that fight, Zoro learns how to cut. That was probably one of my favorite Zoro fights, is when he fought Mr. One, because that was such a challenge for him. He couldn't cut him no matter how hard he tried. And then he remembered his master teaching him something like, it doesn't matter how strong you are and this and that. I forgot what he said exactly, but Zoro mastered it during that battle. And I like when Straw Hats do that.
Yeah.
Luffy's done that before. Zoro's done it, and it's cool when that happens. So that was something I really liked too. Even Nami, this was probably one of my favorite Nami fights, even though she was very stumbling and goofy as she did it, but she held her own.
Well, yeah, she gets a new weapon made by Usopp, the Climacto, I think that's called. The weather, that can control the weather and stuff like that.
Climb attack. But it's funny because stupid Usopp made it like a battle weapon and a party thing.
Yeah.
So she kept doing all the party things, but she didn't really know how to. She didn't really properly learn how to use it yet. He kind of just said, this does that, and that's right. There you go. So she didn't really know how to learn it, but over time she does learn it.
Yeah.
But Alabasta, when you put on S.
Yeah, I put it on S. It's one of the best.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I think Alabasta was like 60, 70 something episodes.
Yeah.
So it was
it is a little bit longer arc. I think it's like one of the first longer arcs. Yeah. But honestly, it's such a great arc. Hopefully the live action in season 3, because they did announce that coming out with season 3. They're making season 3. When they do the whole Alabasta arc, that's what most likely that whole arc is going to be.
That should be the entirety of season 3 should be Alabasta. And you know what? They have more than enough story.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? Maybe it'll do the arc before Skypiea, and then Skypiea.
Oh, maybe a epilogue. They have do a little bit of Jaya.
They might do. I mean, the last episode might be what's that arc? The one with Acorn Head guy, and then where he knocks down Bellamy.
Yeah, that's Jaya.
Jaya. So we might get that arc, and then before.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
It'll probably end around that part, which I wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
Depending how many episodes they're gonna do season 3 in. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we thought we were gonna do this in one whole shot, but there's just so much to talk about. And you know what? This might be better because we can expand more into it, and rush it.
So. Yeah, so again, we might cut this part out, but we'll probably do it where it's like East Blue Part 1, Alabasta Part 2, maybe do like that. So,
yeah, okay.
But thank you guys for watching this part.
Thank you.
We're gonna be we'll be recording more of these episodes and putting them out as we're waiting for season 2 live action comes out next year.
Yeah.
So you'll be seeing more of these we're trying to we're trying to experiment, trying to do different things for the channel. But yes, if you enjoy this,
maybe change her name. You know, ooh.
Yeah, we got some fun stuff. We might do some rebranding, maybe some giveaways in the future. But yeah.
Oh yeah, giveaways. We're gonna be doing some giveaways soon. And next episode is gonna be a figure episode.
Yes.
So stay tuned for that as well.
Yes, hopefully it's another figure episode. Oh, it might be another ranking list like this, but we'll see. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you stayed this long, be sure to subscribe and stay notified. And we will see you in the next video. Take care.
Till then, my eyebrows.
Okay.